Good afternoon and a warm welcome to Sunshine Report. Kunle Ariyo is my name. Libraries have long served as important centers for learning, research, and intellectual development. But in the digital age, concerns are growing over whether students still visit these facilities as they once did. Blessing of the reports on the declining use of libraries in Ondo State and what stakeholders are doing to address it. Her report.
Libraries have been at the heart of education and knowledge preservation, but today many of to reshape how students learn. In Ondo State, school administrators say they have observed a steady decline in library use among students. They attribute the trend to a weakened reading culture and the increasing pull of social media and online tools.
Internet is a great problem that we are facing in this generation. Majority of them are so consumed with the social vices through this internet, and they don't really have time to read. It's not even the library that is the problem, but they are not having that time to read.
We found out that of late, students no longer patronize the library, even when facilities there are up to standard, when books are there, students find it very uneasy to go to the library to read, and it has to do with this culture of students not minding their business as far as education upliftment is concerned.
Yet, in the midst of this decline, some students still make deliberate efforts to visit the library for learning.
It drives me to be visiting the library. This is because when I visit the library, I'm so interested and I'm motivated. Because when I visit it, I'll see some textbooks and I'll read there and gain more interesting topics.
Library is good too because I really like library. Because our class is too crowded, so I need to come. Library is not silent and there's so many books in libraries.
But even with these testimonies, numbers continue to drop. This is the Ondo State Library in Akure. The hall can seat over 100 readers, yet staff say less than 50 people visit in an entire week. The director of the Ondo State Library Board, Abiodun Bagbe, confirms the decline. He says outdated materials, infrastructural challenges, and the rise of e-libraries are major reasons students are turning away from physical libraries.
There's a big shift from the usage of traditional library to the electronic library. And when you say electronic library, that's the electronic version of the traditional library, that is the physical library. And for the student, the readers, to really patronize our service here, that means that we need to make the library so inviting. I'm sorry to say the library has not been totally inviting to people because there are some infrastructures that ought to have been put in place.
School authorities say they are now adopting new strategies to stimulate interest and revive the reading culture among young people.
When I got here, I decided to start silent reading. Number one, It will enable the student to really know the importance of reading. So when they have this reading culture, it will be very easy for them to be visiting the library.
Experts argue that despite the rise of e-libraries, digital resources, and artificial intelligence tools, physical libraries remain vital for focused learning and knowledge preservation. Calls continue to grow for government investment in modern libraries in schools and communities across the state. Experts are urging Nigerians to tap into the digital age by nurturing a strong reading culture from an early stage. They believe that embracing this can help shape a generation of better informed citizens. Blessing Obi, Osrc News.
And still with education, teachers are often described as the backbone of any nation, the silent builders of human capital who shape the minds that define the future. But Nigeria's classrooms are fast losing these nation builders. In recent years, the country has witnessed a troubling shortage of teachers, worsened by poor welfare and brain drain. Blessing Obi reports that on the growing crisis and what can be done to fix it. Her report.
Education remains one of the strongest drivers of social and economic progress, and teachers sit at the very heart of it. Yet, Nigeria's education system is currently facing a manpower drought. According to the Universal Basic Education Commission, as of 2025, only about 910,000 teachers are serving more than 31 million pupils across both public and private primary schools nationwide, a ratio of roughly 1 teacher to 34 pupils, far above UNESCO's recommended 1:25 standard. The National Bureau of Statistics also reports that the number of registered primary school teachers grew by just 4.3% between 2020 and 2022, from 1.41 million to 1.47 million, a rate far below population and enrollment growth. Behind these figures lies a deeper problem. Many teachers are leaving the profession and even the country in search of better pay and opportunities. Experts say the trend is linked to poor remuneration, irregular promotion, outdated training systems, and low societal respect for teachers.
We have brain drain. We have people migrating from Nigeria to other climes to want to work, not because there's no job here in Nigeria, but they haven't gotten that job satisfaction. Government on its own have tried severally to want to motivate people to remain, to take up teaching as a profession. Part of those things they did then was to now say anybody who is going to college education, they will be paying them 50,000 naira as allowance. For anybody going to university, you give them 75,000 as allowance. But I continue to say that even if you give them 1 million naira to go and study education, by the time they finish and they are out of school, insofar as government is not taking care of the welfare of teachers as priority, they will also veer off into other professions. They will travel out of the country. So what could be done now is that the government is going to put up a special package for teachers. They should recognize teachers as those who are the builders of other professions.
The consequences are stark: overcrowded classrooms, declining academic performance, and a growing number of children falling behind. UNICEF reports that approximately 17% of Nigerian children aged 10 lack basic literacy skills, unable to read or comprehend simple texts. However, some state governments are beginning to respond. In Ondo State, Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa recently approved the recruitment of 1,100 teachers across both primary and secondary schools, part of efforts to tackle teacher shortage, boost quality education, and create jobs for qualified graduates.
The government is now improving in the welfare of of workers in the education sector, especially teachers. With Ondo State recruiting a large number of teachers, both in the primary school subsector and the secondary school subsector, I think the improvement has really come on board and the brain drain syndrome has drastically reduced.
Education stakeholders believe the Nigerian needs to replicate such initiatives nationwide, backed by better pay, continuous professional development, housing and health incentives, and policies that restore respect and dignity to the teaching profession. They also call for partnerships with the private sector and international organizations to strengthen teacher training and retention. Experts agree that solving the teacher shortage and brain drain challenge begins with valuing teachers, not just in words, but in action and policy. Blessing Obe, Osrc News.
As artificial intelligence is advancing at record speed, cyber threats are becoming more sophisticated, and social media continues to shape public behavior on a massive scale. These three forces, AI ethics, cybersecurity, and social media, are now intersecting in ways that present both incredible opportunities and serious risk. Our reporter, Adewumi Taiwo, tells us more.
The ethics of artificial intelligence is no longer a technical debate. It's a question of trust, fairness, and human rights. Without clear global standards, AI systems can reinforce bias, compromise privacy, and make life-changing decisions without transparency or accountability.
The use of AI for content creation has to follow ethical standard of AI. For instance, using AI to malign, to do all sorts of things that can bring disrepute to individual emotion or things, all those things are things that are taken care of by ethical use of AI. You must know the limit of using AI. You must know when to use AI. You must know the effect of the content you are creating, not only on individuals, on the society at large.
It is important to note that the end result of using an artificial intelligence is affect humans. When there is a fault in any system, say for instance there is a form of inaccuracy or something in any system, somebody has to be responsible. Now, one of the things the ethical part of AI does is accountability, being able to trace a particular fault to a particular source. The fact that there is artificial intelligence does not mean you should be susceptible to data leak or information wrongly, accessed. There has to be some form of ethics guiding the practice of it.
AI can kind of like serve as a surveillance system, and it can also cross the line into over surveillance. That is, it can infringe on individuals' privacy rights without consent. So that is one of the ethical issues.
But even as the world tries to regulate AI, cyber criminals are weaponizing it. Hackers now deploy adaptive phishing schemes, AI-generated deepfakes, and ransomware that studies its targets, attacks that easily outpace traditional security methods. Denial of service disruptions and supply chain infiltrations are also rising, prompting governments and organizations to embrace zero-trust security models and exploit quantum-resistant encryption.
The coming of AI into the issue of cybersecurity is both a blessing and disguise. Because, number one, there are new threat landscapes with the coming of AI, and there are new countermeasure approaches with the coming of AI. So it's both a blessing and a curse. But the most, in Nigeria, we always talk of the one we call the business email compromise. The one you call Yahoo Yahoo, in actual, in professional terms, it's called business email compromise. It used to be called personal email compromise, but it's called business email compromise. Yes, it's under that, but what is the most potent is phishing is the most potent as far as we are concerned in Nigeria that affects individuals.
One of the threats is human error. Now, most users don't know how to correctly store data. Now, in not knowing how to store data, there are people waiting at the end of a data that is not correctly stored to hurt you or to harm the system. People sometimes leave some loopholes, and in the process of testing for vulnerabilities in your system, they get into it and make use of whatever it is they want to do.
When a human who is corrupt, a human who wants to perpetrate evil, handles any software that is AI driven, it can be manipulated. Now, what do they do? Take for example, we have cyber threats, we have cyber crime, where somebody can just sit in his house and commit a crime in the comfort of his room. Somebody can just send you, there's what we call phishing. Somebody can send you an email that looks like the original. Maybe you are looking for a job. Somebody can just sit in the comfort of his room and send you an email that looks like the original. And before you know it, you are scammed.
And then there is social media, a platform that connects billions, yet also fuels misinformation, polarization, and growing mental health concerns, especially among young people.
We have been encouraging all the traditional media platforms, television, radio, newspaper, magazine, they must have their own social media platforms so that it will reduce the spread of fake news. Once there is something they post on social media, you can verify it. If it's on Osrc platform or Orange FM platform, you will know that this is a credible media platform where you can find out about that particular story that is being, or rumor that is being spread. So the advent of social media for our community, driving of community development, has been enormous. And the negative aspect as well, it has been issue of fake news.
As AI ethics, cybersecurity threats, and social media influence converge, experts warn that the choices made today will determine whether technology strengthens society or deepens its vulnerabilities. Adewumi Taiwo, Osrc News.
The internal crisis rocking the People's Democratic Party (PDP) has deepened, sparking concerns among party supporters and political analysts who worry the turmoil could jeopardize the party's future. Omoni Alangbeji engages with several party members and legal experts to explore the roots of the conflict and possible solutions moving forward. Her report.
The People's Democratic Party (PDP), once Nigeria's most powerful political force, has been embroiled in persistent internal conflicts for years, creating deep divisions and uncertainty about its future direction. Leadership battles, conflicting court rulings, and unresolved grievances have compounded the party's challenges. Court decisions from Abuja to Oyo aimed to resolve disputes over executive roles and internal processes, but parties' delay and refusal to implement these rulings have only deepened the crisis. A former governorship aspirant in Ondo State, Babatunde Faro, voiced dissatisfaction with the ongoing crisis within the People's Democratic Party. He lamented that the prolonged turbulence is taking a heavy toll on loyal members across the party's various chapters, affecting their morale and commitment.
Where I stand is clear. I believe the objective of the Nyesom Wike-led camp is to make sure that PDP doesn't have a presidential candidate in 2027 election, which is very unfortunate. I don't subscribe to it. I feel that we should give Nigerians a choice to choose their leaders. But still, I feel the governor camp still needs to talk to them. Let's do some give and take. Let's see how if we can achieve some level of reconciliation so that after this old charade, we can all march forward from the end of the year to have a variant party that Nigerians can now yearn for in 2026 or 2027.
Former Director of Media and Publicity for the PDP, Leye Igbagbo, says the party's turmoil has moved beyond a typical crisis and has reached a compromise level driven by selfish ambitions of a few leaders. He described the recently concluded convention as the party's funeral and warned that the unfolding events expose a deeper leadership problem that must be addressed decisively.
As it is today, it is unfortunate that the PDP crisis has graduated from the crisis level to a compromise level, where the people within, party leaders, stakeholders, who are expected to defend the integrity of the platform, are now being used by other external influence to destroy the party, and that's compromise. So under these circumstances now, it's only divine intervention at that level that can help.
Legal analyst Oladele Oke says the PDP's crisis is deepened by its refusal to obey key orders. He pointed out that ignoring rulings from Abuja and Oyo has heightened internal friction and could jeopardize the party's prospects in the upcoming general election.
Legal practitioner, an order is an order, whether it was made as party or on notice, as long as it's an order that emanated from a legitimately constituted judicial body. It is binding. It is binding to that effect. Now, PDP is now in a state of quagmire. Those who had procured or who had gotten the judgment or the order from the Oyo State High Court are now saying that no, this order legitimized our activity, that we can proceed to do national convention. But the question is, can you put something on nothing and you expect it to stand? The Federal High Court order had come earlier before the Oyo State High Court. And as a legal practitioner, when we want to avoid, or when we extol what we call abuse of court process, the right thing to do is that you have to appeal the judgment that is against you. You cannot say because a judgment or an order does not favor you, you resort to self-help or violence. That will constitute anarchy. It's an invitation, it's an open invitation to anarchy.
The recent power struggle at the PDP Secretariat in Abuja, where party stalwarts demonstrated dominance, has cast doubt on the possibility of the party healing its divisions anytime soon. Despite ongoing calls for stakeholders for dialogue, transparency and adherence to due process remain the only viable path to restoring unity within the party. Omoyola Mbiji, Osrc News.
The pivotal role of men in society took the center stage as the world celebrated Men's Day, highlighting their contributions, challenges, and overall well-being. This year's theme, Celebrating Men and Boys, highlights positive male role models and emphasizes the importance of prioritizing men's mental health, emotional support, and creating safe spaces for them to express themselves freely. Our correspondent Adewumi Taiwo tells us more.
International Men's Day is marked every year on November 19, offering the world an opportunity to reflect on the well-being and life experiences of men and boys everywhere. This year's theme, Celebrating Men and Boys, champions the idea that men contribute immensely to families, communities, and nation building, often in ways that go unnoticed. It reinforces that strength can be gentle and that every male deserves recognition, support, and a chance to thrive. The observance also highlights men's physical, emotional, and mental health, especially issues that are frequently unspoken due to societal expectations. By creating awareness, the day encourages healthier gender relations and helps men reach their full potential. Mr. James Akinlua says the theme is a reminder that men's contributions are invaluable and that society must be intentional about supporting their mental and emotional well-being.
I'm excited, at least that recognition is now coming from me, and boys too, I have my boys. In fact, I'm planning to visit him today because I'm excited. I woke up this morning, I heard about it. International Day for Men, boys, it's sweet. and it's like people are now getting to know much about men, our importance in the society, what we do. We are everywhere.
For Mr. Isaac Ojo, celebrating the male gender is a moment of gratitude. He acknowledges the challenges men face and urges them to avoid stress and prioritize their health.
I pray to God on behalf of men that God will give us, He will enrich us to do our duty in the house. Because our duty in the house is to keep the house together. We should provide for our family. We are prone to hypertension. So I will advise that whatever challenges we have, we should try to, to manage it. Because there's nobody that's not having any challenges. Nobody that, even the government is having challenges. So we should try to take challenge as it comes.
Also speaking, Mr. Olawumi emphasized that men play crucial roles in families and society, and celebrating them reinforces their importance in nation building.
About 90 to 98%.
As the world marks International Men's Day, the call grows louder for society to respect, support, and celebrate men and boys, ensuring they live healthier, happier, and more fulfilling lives. Adewumi Taiwo, Osrc News.
And that's it on Sunshine Report. Good afternoon.